Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Marfatul AYU Nurlita. I'm the student of English Education Department of Zainul Hasan University. I'm on the fifth semester, and here I am is to presentate my proposal with the title Parents' Perceptions Toward the Importance of Learning English in the Early Age as a Foreign Language. And in the second slide, there is the first topic that was background of the study. So why I chose this title or topic is because parents' background may also play a significant role in why parents today insist that their kids become fluent in English as soon as feasible. Because English is one of the most crucial languages to learn out of all the languages spoken on earth. English is a language of the world, hence it needs to be taught to children. English is a very important language in the international world, especially in this era of globalization. And also English is used to communicate with other people in various countries. Learning English as early as possible can benefit students' academic competence and other aspects of a better life in the future, such as their career self-image and confidence in speaking with foreigners, because children have the capacity to absorb language more than one for the asset in the future. And according to Sharifan, who claimed that English is a bridge between communities of speakers around the world or a global language need, there are many presumptions these days that individuals need to acquire English because it is the most widely spoken language in the world. And then because of cultural transmission, there is a good relationship between parents and children. The more educated the parents, the better the environment they may provide for developing the children's talent, such as book and technology. As a result, parents from affluent backgrounds frequently urge their kids to start learning English as soon as possible, since, in my opinion, they want their kids to succeed more than they did. So that's why I chose parents' perception toward the importance of learning English in early age as a foreign language for their children as my topic and title. And the reason why I chose the parents in that school are because the schools were very easy to access and get to permit. And then the third slide, there is the novelty of my proposal. The first novelty is, in the previous study, it conducted to parents that their kids school in bilingual school or boarding school, while researchers conducted to parents that their kids are in regular kindergarten school. And the second is previous study more focused on parents' kindergarten kids, while researchers focus on both preschool and kindergarten parents. And the third is within the scope of the titles that my classmates choose. Most of them research students or teacher perceptions, while researchers research parents' perceptions. And the next slide, there are statements of the problem and objective of the problem of the study. The first is statement of the problem. The statement of the problem of my proposal is: number one, what are the parents' perceptions toward the importance of learning English in early age as a foreign language for their children? And number 2 is, do parents think that English is important for their child's future? And the next is the objective of the study. From the statement of the problem that I said before, the objective of the study is to find out parents' perception towards the importance of learning English as in early age as a foreign language for their children. And number 2 is to find out what are the parents think that English is important or not for their child's future. Okay, the next slide is previous study. The first previous study I refers to bilingualism, parents' perceptions on learning English as a foreign language in the early age for their children by Salam Ariatan DWI, 2016. The object of this research is to determine the parents' perceptions on learning English as a foreign language in the early age for their children. So, based on the 10 parents who have been interviewed in this study, the results shows that there are still different perceptions among the parents about the development of young learners. And the second previous study is persepsi orang tua terhadap pemerolehan bahasa Inggris anak usia dini. The objective of this study is to determine parental perceptions of the acquisition of English in early childhood. And the result of this study showed that 18% of 32 parents had the perceptions that acquiring English in early childhood was very important and needed to be taught early. And the second previous study is the investigation of parents' perspective towards the importance of English learning at private Islamic schools in Makassar. And the objective of this study is to investigation into parents' perspective towards the importance of English learning at private Islamic school in Makassar. And the result of this study is the research reveals that some parents who think that learning English is not too important tends to be unimportant or even not important at all compared to religious learning, where they give the doctrine directly to their children or students, or directly by not showing the appreciations for the result of learning English. And the fourth is persepsi orang tua dan guru mengenai bahasa Inggris pada anak usia dini di TK Aba Karangmalang, Yogyakarta. And the objective of this research is to find out the perceptions of parents and teachers about the importance of English for early childhood. And the result of analysis in this research shows that mostly parents and teachers state that English for early childhood is important. Learning English in early age is better for children's memory and brain development. Children have a high curiosity, which is suitable to teach them English or other languages. It's also related to their golden age development. English factor in children has a positive influence that can enhance the children equations in children language development, while English factor in children also has a negative impact as the low ability of the child first language. And the fifth previous study is Is pandangan orang tua tentang bahasa Inggris untuk anak usia dini. And the objective of this research is to find out what parents think about teaching young children English. And the result of this study is to shown that parents' review of English for early childhood is that English is very beneficial for academic, and social. Besides, the effort made by parents was also found in teaching English earlier for their children, especially by using various media and methods. And the sixth previous study is the parents' perceptions and experience of early English education in South Korea, focused on English kindergarten. And this study is to investigate parents' perception and experience of early childhood English education in South Korea based on their children's private English kindergarten education. It aims to explore parental opinions about early English language learning. In addition, the study intends to discover key factors that influence their decisions in selecting private English kindergartens. And the result of this study is participants perceive that learning English at an early age is beneficial for children's future academic and career success. The findings suggest that the current trend of private English kindergarten primarily accessible only to children from wealthy families reflects the strong demands of parents for early English education, as the Korean education system doesn't allow teaching English in kindergartens. And to provide equal opportunities for all children to learn English in the current era of globalization, it is necessary to integrate English education into the national kindergarten curriculum. The seventh previous study is unraveling parent perceptions of English language learning. And this research aims to analyze parents' perception toward the learning of English and the ways they have their children deal with English and language assessment. And this study found that the result indicated the exact opposite, as 9,700 of the parents interviewed had a positive perception of the English language. Moreover, the parents were in favor of the idea that their children will learn English. The eighth previous study is parent and students' perceptions on the importance of teaching and learning English. And this study is to explore the perceptions of secondary level students toward the importance of learning English in terms of career opportunity. Findings showed that learning English people have lots of opportunities in the fields like business, tourism, medicine, and teaching profession. In the same way, secondary level students agreed that good competence in English language provides better opportunities to the people for doing trade and business internationally. Similarly, finding shown that the parents were interested towards the importance of teaching and learning English to their children, as English worked as a link language that helps the people to travel and trade internationally. But English is necessary to work in the fields like tourism and diplomacy. And the next previous study and the last previous study is parents' perception of their young children English literacy, a question, narrative inquiry. The purpose of this study is to explore the family's perceptions of their contribution in promoting their young children early English literacy acquisition. And the result showed that most of the parents in Indonesia hadn't given their awareness of their children early English literacy acquisition. And the next slide is theoretical framework. The first theoretical framework is English as an international language. There are numerous presumptions these days that people must learn English because it is the most widely spoken language in the world. They added the intent behind to explain ideas rather than feelings. People learn English as a second language. For English is their second language and his emotional expression is in his mother tongue. They use language as a means of communicating their ideas to others, and this detail could be the idea that parents should encourage their kids to learn English as soon as feasible. And the second theoretical framework is learning English in the early age. Children are believed to have the ability to understand more than one language from birth. It implies that kids learn language more quickly the younger they are. And there are numerous presumptions concerning the benefits and drawbacks of learning English at a young age. Children are believed to have the ability to understand more than one language from birth. According to Gunter and Boroditsky, it implies that kids learn language more quickly the younger they are. And therefore, bilingualism has prevented the children from becoming fluent in either their original tongue in their second language. Additionally, bilingual children are less likely to produce language than monolingual children. Children that have been multilingual since a young age struggle with putting language together. And the third is the importance of learning English in the early age. It is crucial to learn English from a young age, not to brag or be pretentious, but for future investment, as people may now be used as investment in addition to physical thing in the modern world. And the fourth is advantages and disadvantages of learning English in early age. The advantages of having children start learning at a young age is number one, it creates an opportunity for early diversity. Young infants acquire a natural native-like accent when they study a foreign language. Learning a foreign language can improve chances for both children and adults in school and in their jobs. Relationships can be strengthened by learning a language as a family activity. Children and adults who study a foreign language find it much simpler to make cultural connections, which can result in valuable friendship and professional collaboration. The second advantage is multilingualism improves a person's working memory. Cognitive skills are developed when children or adults start learning a foreign language, particularly in children youngsters who start learning a foreign language early on shows a definite cognitive edge over youngsters who do not. According to the American Council on Teaching Foreign Languages, a multilingual education helps those who are learning many secondary languages to increase their working memory. When exposed to novel acoustic stimuli, touch, concept, and practical experience, this improvement allows for greater information processing abilities. In addition, those who explore opportunities for bilingual education have lower levels of worry and dread and are less likely to develop mental health problems. Number 3 is grow children's creativity and imagination. Play is a key component in early learning. The best place to meet the needs of the kid is to create facilities for early childhood education. The young child will receive a lot of stimulation to spark in his imagination and creativity in addition to acquiring numerous fundamental skills for reading and writing. The next is building confidence and understanding. Children who start learning English in early age and mastering a foreign language grow more self-assured over time and develop the capacity to communicate with speakers of language other than their own. And to develop confidence in their talents, many educational professionals advise that adults and kids learn our preferred language by to music and speaking rhythmically. And the negative impacts of learning English in early age. The first one is blast or bored, lonely, afraid, angry, stressed, tired. The term blast refers to a phenomenon that describes how children's lives are fragile and in the digital age because their most crucial social system, their families, are weak. Plus, as stated by Mulya and Pratiwi and referenced in Psychonews, stands for bored, feeling bored with daily routines and school routines, lonely. The company is quiet because children are not close to their parents in quantity and quality. Angry, afraid, feeling angry because of the situation rooted in dissatisfaction and fear of the stories to parents. Stress, feeling depressed because of the situation at hand, and tired due to accumulated problems. Children who learn at a young age may become disenchanted with the lessons and rules they receive both at school and home, which can make them melancholy and prevent them from learning. The sooner the child feels blessed, the younger the child we send to school, the young child is more likely to later engage in bullying, watch pornography, and engage in sexual crimes if they had experienced blast. And the second is language decline. Learning multiple languages at once will restrict the quantity of words that children can learn in the allowed period. At his age, this unquestionably affects how kids acquire their linguistic skills. It can lead to It can lead to misunderstanding and impede language mastering when a child is studying the mother tongue while also being exposed to a foreign or second language. And the third negative impact and the last is cultural confusion. Of course, a foreign language differs from one's mother tongue. There are differences in grammar, letter usage, and reading comprehension. The fact that a child must learn millions of words in a foreign language will undoubtedly stress them out because they must be spelled and spoken differently from words in their own tongue. Children may lose memory of their own culture if foreign languages are introduced to them at a young age. It's a good idea for parents to start teaching their children other language at a young age. And in fact, some parents choose to start teaching their children foreign language at a young age out of respect. Before introducing foreign language to young children, it's crucial to consider whether doing so would be harmful. Children often become confused by and even lose sight of their own culture. And the next theoretical word and the next slide, there is parents' background. Parents' background may also play a significant role in why parents today insist that their kids become fluent in English as soon as feasible. Therefore, parents from affluent backgrounds often urge their kids to acquire English as soon as possible because they want them to be more successful and, in my opinion, than them in success English. And the sixth is the definition of perception. So perception is the process of receiving stimuli received from an object, quality, relationship between symptoms and events until the stimuli are based and understood. And the seventh is the process of perception. The first process is stimulus perceptions. During this process, people are exposed to stimuli from many sources, and the next process is selecting stimuli. After the stimuli are received, and then selected here, the attention process will be involved. The stimulus is selected for further processing. The third is process of organizing. The stimuli received are required to organize in a form. And then the fourth process is interpretation process. After the stimulus or data is received and organized, the receivers then interprets the data in various ways. And then checking process. After the data is interpreted, the recipient takes some action to check whether what is done is right or wrong. And the last is the reaction process. The perception's environment is not causing the actions to be usually hidden or open. And the eighth theoretical framework and the last is language acquisition. Language acquisition is the process through which people develop the ability to make and use word and sentence for communicate, as well as the capability to grasp and interpret language. And the next slide is conceptual framework. There are some main factors that affect it, such as student motivation, and as a person who organizes and directs their children to every education that will be undertaken. And in this case, parents' perceptions toward English is very important. If the parents' perception is positive, the acceptance of English subject will be effective easily. But if the parent's perception is negative, the acceptance of English subject, then children feedback will be disturbed. It means that parents' perceptions will give a big influence to the success of feedback. This study therefore concerns parents' perceptions toward the importance of learning English in early age as a foreign language for their children. And the next slide is the research method. Number 1 is the research design. In this study, researchers descriptive and qualitative research approach was applied in this study. And the next is population and sample. The population of this study is all parents from the preschool and kindergarten schools, and the sample is 10 parents of the two schools if they would be willing to participate in this study. And the data collection that used in this study is interview to parents. Researchers applied random sampling to select the participants. This type of sampling was adopted since I randomly selected the participants based on the willingness to participate in the interview without first asking or learning anything about their background. A pilot test was conducted in order to expand the interview question, which were intentionally only 10, prior to the creation of formal study question. Inquiries also were created in accordance with the 7 themes found in the literature review. When it appears after doing the interview, the emergence theme was introduced. For locals, the interview was conducted in Indonesian, whereas from visitors from the countries, it was conducted in English and Indonesian. These were utilized with the hopes that the interviews would understand them, would be more relaxed and capable of responding to the interview question. It was each parent takes about 5 to 15 minutes. While posing the question, audio recording was the researchers will ask your question to aid in data collection. And the last is data analysis techniques. This research used qualitative descriptive analysis. The researchers began gathering the data after the questions were created through piloting. The researchers set up a day for conducting the interview after asking a few parents from the two schools if they would be willing to participate in the study. Following that, 10 parents were interviewed over the course of 2 days, beginning on October 4 and ending on October 5. After I got all the data from the interviewer, I transcribed and analyzed the data. After that, I analyzed the data based on my interpretation and the literature review related to the parents' perception toward learning English in the early age. At the end of the data analysis, I described the conclusions. And the last slide is special thanks for the principal of Zainul Hasan Islamic University and Mr. Zainuddin as the supervisor lecturer. So I think that's all of my presentation. And if there are mistakes for me, I truly apologize for that. And the last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.